Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Everyday Excellence. I'm your host, Todd Baldwin, and today we have Ben Hewlett, the co-owner and COO of Earthscapes Lawn and Land Service, Inc. Ben, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Glad to be here, and thanks for the invite, Todd. I appreciate it. It's a good day. It's still a little chilly here in Virginia. We're looking for some more warmer weather soon.
Well, I'm in Dallas Fort Worth, and we had a beautiful weekend. So we have been in the mid 70s to 80s. Beautiful weather so far. Hope it lasts through May before the brutal heat gets here. So, Ben, thanks for jumping on. Like I mentioned earlier, I really enjoy talking to entrepreneurs. So I appreciate your time and hopping on our show today. So, tell me a little bit about Earthscapes Lawn and Land Service. I'm sure you can do a much better job introducing your company than I ever could, Ben.
Sure. Earthscapes is a family-owned business. The Eldridges started the company back in 1996, and Josh and Matt are twin brothers that took over the business from their dad. Just like a lot of things, started as a side gig, and they took over the business from their dad and were running it and growing it. And in 2021, myself and my business partner Trey merged our companies together. We had a smaller landscape business that we had started also as a side business. We were both active duty in the military when we started those. And in 2021, we merged our two companies together. And we've set some goals, we've set some big progresses, but we're an all encompassing landscape company. We do everything from just basic maintenance, commercial and residential, to construction projects, landscape construction projects, swimming pool installations, and we have an agronomics division as well that does chemical and fertilizer programs for turf management. And just recently, as well as January and February, we do snow removal as well when it comes to Virginia every now and then. So we kind of do it a little bit of all, and that's kind of the outlook of what Earthscapes is. That's why we try to differentiate ourselves, that we are kind of a one-stop shop. But Earthscapes is growing. We've grown significantly in the 5 years since our merger, and it's really been a journey and an eye-opening experience for a small business that's kind of maybe going through um, not adulthood yet, but it's definitely growing through its adolescent years right now.
Sure. Well, those are, yeah. It's just like raising children. Sometimes you're raising that business, right? There's a lot of
That's right.
changes and challenges along the way. So, tell us where you're located, Ben, and what areas do you guys serve?
Sure. Our offices are in Norfolk, Virginia. We service Virginia Beach and Norfolk, Chesapeake, Suffolk, Portsmouth, all the Hampton Roads area. We do go across the water to the north, sometimes to Portsmouth, Newport News, and even up to Williamsburg as well. But most of our services are the south side of Hampton Roads service area.
Okay. And so, when we talked earlier, you'd mentioned how you and your partner Trey, before y'all merged with Earthscapes, right? You started this landscaping business, kind of a side hustle while you guys were both Navy pilots in the military, correct?
That's correct. Trey and I met in flight school in 1992 in Corpus Christi at the Navy pilot training, and lifelong friends. And we ended up back in Virginia Beach together, serving active in the Navy, both flying F-18 Hornets, both commanding officers, squadrons, and having a successful Navy career. But we were starting to have some discussions, especially we had both gone recently through MBA classes, and so we had this kind of entrepreneurial bug that got to us, and we were beginning to talk about what we were going to do when we get to the conclusion of our Navy careers. And the short story is we decided to start a landscape company, and so we were running the landscape company while we were active, on the side. We would have deployments. Trey would be on deployment, I would be on deployment. One of us sometimes having to put together the schedule overseas, even on a ship. Our crew leaders had iPads, and so we were giving them instructions, even while we were trying to run the business from afar. But at any given time, most of us, there was at least one of us always there to be present together. But it was a very difficult process. It was, I would not recommend doing it that way, but we made it happen. And we both retired in 2017 and really began to sink our effort and money into that effort. And we really began to grow and kind of turn the corner. There were some dark moments where we thought, oh, this is crazy. Why don't we just close these doors and stop? But we both saw where it was going and what the potential was. And we were really kind of on an upward trajectory. Had moved into a permanent facility, and we're running a couple of crews, and starting to see some profits for the first time in about 5 years since we'd started the company. And that's when the merger with Earthscapes came along, and it was an opportunity that we saw to really make a leap into a more mature company and well established in the area. So it was good for, I think, both for Earthscapes and for our previous company as well to grow and put our forces together. It's an
Yeah.
interesting dynamic with four owners. So our partnerships are good and bad, right? So it's hard, but we make it work. So it's been a blessing.
Well, that's good. That's good to hear. I've been in business since 2000, or a business owner, entrepreneur, whatever you want to call us, right? Crazy. But
Yeah,
I've always had
sometimes.
partners up until the last couple of years. So very familiar with that structure. And it can be, partners are great. But it can also be very challenging at times, right? So you guys there's four owners in the business. So what led you guys to merge with Earthscape? So did they reach out to you? Did you reach out to them? Did y'all just how did that all come about? Because that's interesting how you guys were able to merge and then actually still have success and everybody maintain ownership and so forth. But how did
Sure,
it come
sure.
about?
Earthscapes, Matt and Josh reached out to us. Originally, I think they were kind of going through a very typical small business growing pains where they had gotten large. It was consuming their time. They were spending most of their time working in the business and having trouble separating their time to work on the business. And
Right.
it's a very, very common theme for small businesses that begin to grow. You reach this point where you're either going to have to hire somebody to help you, or you're going to collapse because you can't shoulder it all on your own shoulders. And I think that's the point at which way they had become. And they had reached out to us about a potential merger. Uh, and the obviously the great part of it, having multiple owners, is that we do stay in our lanes, and the purpose is sort of like letting Trey and I came along, and we were like, okay, well, let us work on the business so that we can start looking at some structure, set some goals, some long range vision. Let's set some growth patterns. Let's get some processes. Let's hire the right people. And that was really what the founding of it is really kind of taken off. People and processes is a common theme, and you got to get those right. You got to have the right people, and that's what we began to do. Is we set an organizational structure. We began to put processes in place, and we have these visions of where we're going to go with revenue wise and how we were going to get there. So um, the four owners are good because we bounce ideas off each other. It's nice to have a sounding board. We all kind of
Sure.
keep each other honest, but it also allows us to all have our lanes. I'm the operations guy. I watch our operations, our productivity, our efficiencies, trying to get our processes in place to standardize, and it's definitely a work in progress. I mean, every day, it's I would not tell you that we're hugely successful on everything we're doing. It's hard work. We're definitely in that adolescent stage, trying to get to a mature stage of a company, but that's what we're doing. We're staying in our lanes, to help each other work on the business and not in it and get consumed with it, which is where it was, I think, before.
Yeah. It's if you've ever started a business, we're all guilty of working in the business versus on the business. So to make that transition step is really important to be able to grow. You mentioned people and processes. So all your processes are SOPs. Have you guys been able to actually get all that in writing and have where it's available for your team members and so forth?
Well,
Because
that's
that's
what
a
we're
lot
working
of
on.
work. It's a
That's
lot
what
of
we're
work
working
to
on.
get that done.
Every day we're trying to standardize the processes and get them written in SOPs. We have a lot, but we've got a long ways to go. You're taking it from a small company, and I would say we're still small, even though we're running seven maintenance crews. We're running four construction crews and a swimming pool crew, plus two agronomics. I still consider that a fairly small company, and we're we have there's always inertia when you're trying to make changes in the company and getting people to get on board with the right processes, especially. But
Sure.
we've made a lot of success, and with the 4 owners, we're able to kind of monitor it from what I call a 50,000-foot view, and making sure that we're kind of going in the right direction. That's the most important thing. Keep moving forward every day.
Yeah, we recently, I mean, we went through that whole process of getting all our processes documented, and then now we're still adding. You're always adding, and you're always tweaking or changing too. But just to have them all in one spot has been really big for us, you know. So I always share, you, you know, entrepreneurs ask me or so forth. I like to experience share, right? Just hey, my experience is yes, it's painful, but it's well worth the time to
Right, right.
get those processes documented. So when we look at so you guys merged 5 years ago, so now 5 years in looking forward to now today, right? So what makes you guys or Earthscape different, right, from the average landscape company? And you guys obviously do more than just landscape. You mentioned I didn't even know pools. You guys are actually doing pool like new pool builds,
That's right. We're doing
and then you
all
actually
all versions of it.
and then
Gunite,
you got a
concrete.
whole chemical side too, right, for like
That's right.
treating weeds and that type of stuff, right? Weed care and control. Or, okay, and then just normal landscaping
That's right.
and outdoor kitchens and all that, right? So
Yes.
almost anything green related you guys can do.
That's correct. I think that's really what differentiates Earthscapes from most landscape companies. We're a one-stop shop, and we do see quite a bit of like synergistic kind of leveraging between the different divisions. If you're going to put a swimming pool in for someone, they're naturally going to want a patio, an outdoor kitchen, a fire pit to go along with it, and then they're going to want some landscaping, maybe some just turf, plants to go around it, and then they're going to want somebody to take care of that. So we're able to kind of come to our customers and be that one-stop shop for everything that they want to get. And I think that's really what differentiates Earthscapes from a lot of landscape companies who focus on one area. But we divide it up, and we have a proper management staff that are able to watch and concentrate on each one of their individual areas, so that we don't always feel like we're overwhelmed with work coming at us from every direction. We definitely have the team to manage it. The swimming pool piece was kind of uh, we were subbing out a swimming pools when we had been asked to do it, and we kind of had this mantra of like, yeah, we'll figure it out. Let's start this. We got our permits, we got our building permits, and we were going through this process. And then while we were putting a few in that we had been subcontracting, we ended up hiring a guy that had been doing pools his whole life, and he came on staff full time. And so we're all of a sudden in the pool business, and we found quite a bit of synergies between it and even maintenance, mowing and things like that. So we're able to provide ourselves our own customers sometimes.
Yeah, no, it makes sense if you can provide that one-stop shop, right? And just take care of all those needs. That's it totally makes sense. And the homeowners now dealing with one company versus two or three, which has got to be, I would think, a huge, huge plus too. And you're
And
right.
yeah,
I mean, I have a pool and we've redone the pool and landscape and all that jazz. It does all go together. So it's
that's right.
all part of that outdoor living that homeowners are wanting. Um, Speaking of homeowners, when you guys get calls, what type of projects you guys most excited about? Like, hey man, well, that's a great lead. We're excited to go knock this project out.
Obviously, when a lead comes in and they say, "Hey, we want a complete renovation of our backyard, and we're thinking of a pool, and we want to turn this into an amazing outdoor living space." That's what we really get excited about, because it's fun. We have our in-house designers that can sit down. We go through the process with the customer, and our sales team, which is headed up by the owners Matt and Josh. They're managing the sales with that, and they take these customers along that customer experience journey to try to get them to this amazing backyard that we're able to to provide for them. And I think those are the projects that get us most excited. Now, I don't want to ever disregard the foundation of the company, which is our maintenance side, which is just we do commercial and residential maintenance, and we've got crews in the neighborhoods and all over the cities with commercial properties. There's a lot of homeowners associations, residential areas that are ran by homeowner boards that we do a lot of the common areas around town, and those are great sources of our leads as well because they see our trucks in the neighborhoods, and they it's a big part of our company. We're probably about 60-40 more construction, as far as if you just talk about revenue. Construction is probably about 60% of our revenue and 40% maintenance. If you were to split it between those two, but we lean heavily on our maintenance division because we really do recognize that it is our bread and butter. It is, it's the recurring services, it's the subscription-based services that you're going to create value with the company, but also ensure that you've got a monthly cash flow coming through with our maintenance. Because whereas a construction job could just be a one and done.
Yeah, the recurring revenue is always crucial in a business, right? And also, like you said, can lead to big construction projects from referrals or people seeing the trucks or whatnot. But no, it totally makes sense on the maintenance side. I mean, we're a digital agency. We do a lot of web dev projects, which we call those one time fees, meaning once it's done, that site's built, those fees are paid versus that recurring revenue where we're actually running lead gen campaigns for clients. Very important to have a mix of both, but we obviously want to have as much recurring revenue as possible. Uh, Curious about your people and culture and leadership and all that good stuff, right? Which is crucial in a business. And also just about your role. So, what does your role look like day to day as CEO of Earthscapes?
Sure. Like I mentioned earlier, as CEO, COO, my focus has been efficiencies. Like getting out the door on time, getting on the job, getting off the job in the allotted or estimated time, expenditures that are over overages, on on a construction cost or something like that. I'm looking at our labor variance on a regular basis to try to keep
Sure.
us in line where we need to be. Because I've told these guys if you can get on and off a job within the allotted hours, there's a really good chance that we're making money and we're being profitable. And that we turn that around and give that back to employees in the form of profit sharing incentive plan that we do across the board for our clients or for our customers. Sorry, our employees. And that is something we started a couple of years ago, looking at how we can incentivize folks, and that's what we do. We don't do it by division or by individual. It's a company-wide profit sharing when the company's profitable. We do a quarterly sharing back, and that's been a very big hit. Another part of our big culture is that we put together our core values a while back. We have 4 solid core values. They kind of build on each other. Um, the first one is do the right thing always. And so we always say, like, if you go to a job and something needs to be done, I don't care what time it is or how long you've got to be there. Let's do the right thing, and then spend the extra hours if it takes it, and let's do the right thing. And then the second one is quality over quantity. So always be focusing on quality every single time. It's not about the
Sure.
quantity. We're not trying to cram everything in. So quality over quantity. Last one is communication, effective communication. If you've done the first 2, then you most likely have followed up with an effective communication because it would fail. And then the last piece is trust. If you've done the first 3, then we develop trust amongst us as employees, and the customer begins to develop a trust with us. Know that we're going to do the right thing. We're going to focus on quality. Those are all pieces of our core values, and we preach those to the guys, and we hold people accountable for them if they're not following them, because that's probably one of the big reasons that we fire people. I will tell you is that we break the core values. So
Yeah, I
developing a
think
culture.
those are
Yeah,
well. No, the core values are crucial, and that your team's actually following them and setting that standard, right?
that's right. That's right.
You also mentioned the profit sharing, which I love as well, because that gives everybody skin in the game theoretically, right?
That's right.
As far as hey, if we're hitting these targets, these budgets on these projects, because it doesn't take much for a project to get off the rails, right? And then all of a
Easy.
sudden it's taking longer than it should, and that's when that happens, right? Those dollars, that profit, it starts to slowly slip away, right? So
That's
to
right.
get everybody to buy in, I love that. I love the whole profit sharing in a way for these guys to feel like they really are a part of the team, right? They're
Right.
getting rewarded for keeping these deadlines met and in budget and so forth. Um, Last question here. I'm just curious if, and this is still kind of on the culture theme, but if someone shadowed your team for a week, right? Shadow them for a week, what would stand out most about your culture?
Oh, that's a good one. I've been listening to your podcast, and that one hadn't come up yet. So, uh, I was like, "Oh, I know what he's gonna ask me." Now you threw one at me. But if they shadowed us, I would hope that they would see that we're developing like a consistency. The guys are, we have processes that they're following. We're organized. Our vehicles are organized. We have these. You would look at the company and go, man, they're very productive because they get on the road at the right time. They show up at the right time. They get off the properties at the right time. They've all know where their equipment is. It's all inventoried. It's all got barcodes and asset tags, and they know where every truck is,
Nice.
and
Yep. Yep.
GPS trackers on all the vehicles, and we're watching those little details to try to make our customer experience, a high quality customer experience. And I would hope that somebody would follow us. That's what they would see. And I say I hope because I know every day it's a journey, it's a battle, and we work hard and to make sure that people are they're following along and they're doing the right things every day as we go in, and the focus is always quality with these with the service that we provide, because in the end, that's where we're going to make our money. That's where we're going to continue to grow, is that people go, yeah, Earthscapes, you're going to get a good quality service out of them. May not be the cheapest, but they're going to give you a quality service and they're going to do a good job. And that's the goal every day.
I love that you said you're not the cheapest either, because that's we work with a lot of companies, and they're not trying to be the cheapest, but their big belief that people are willing to pay more for quality, right? And good
That's right.
communication, good service, back up the work, that you're doing. So I love that. We worked with a big irrigation company, and they were biggest in Texas. Might have been the biggest in the country. Irrigation, drainage, outdoor lighting. But if you looked at their reviews, they had great reviews. But the only negative, they people just said they were pricey. But the owner was like, "I'm not, we're not trying to be the cheapest, and if
That- you
anything,
know,
I do want to be the most expensive in the industry because." And his deal was two man in a truck, right? I mean, everybody showed up. You had the labor, if you will, and you had yes sir, no sir, usually a younger guy leading that crew, and uh, everything was guaranteed the work, and they would knock it out. But yeah, they were not the cheapest. If anything, they're the most expensive. So
you
uh,
know, companies have to learn that either the hard way or they go out of business, because you get to the point where you try to be the cheapest and you're eventually going to work yourself out of business because you can't sustain it. It's not profitable. And then one day it dawns on you that, hey, there's some customers that I can't have them as customers because they're not profitable, and I'm not turning a profit. And that's the purpose of being in business, is to turn a profit. So, that's a journey that people have to learn.
yeah, it's okay to let that client go too. It feels good when you're actually the one saying, "Hey, we're not going to be able to help, service you,
That's
do it in a
right.
professional way." But there's nothing wrong with that.
That's right.
We've done it in our business, and it typically feels really good. Like, hey, we don't need to, whatever the circumstance may be, right? But we're better off just moving on from that particular client. I wanted to talk a little bit about marketing. If you listen to other podcasts, this topic comes up because that's what we do. So I have a lot of passion around it, and I'm always fascinated to hear from other business owners what works, what doesn't work. Do you guys currently work with an agency for your like digital marketing, or is it done in
Uh,
house?
we do not work with agency. We've gone down that path. We were not successful with it. That was a little bit on us. I think we were not ready to to take on the leads that were coming from the marketing campaigns. I will tell you that sales is not the limiting factor for us. We Our operations is a limiting factor, and as a COO, I'm trying to change that. I want it to get where it's the other way around, where I'm wanting more sales. But our leads come in mostly through referrals, phone calls from our website, and things like that. But we do, as of recently. We've hired a digital content creator, a social media guy that comes and takes a lot of the photos and a lot of the video drone shots of finished products, and he turns it into Instagram and Facebook posts and LinkedIn posts as well as YouTube. That is a fairly recent thing. Before we were doing it all in house. Michelle is our marketing manager. She is the wife of Josh, the owner, and she's been managing our marketing for a long time. We are putting together a marketing campaign that addresses these different seasonal aspects of the company and what they can do. But we're pretty much on Google Ads. We run Google Ads pretty often as a primary marketing campaign. But we also don't forget about our current existing clients. We have a ton of clients that only have partial services. Maybe they're just mowing and they don't know that we can do mulch and that we can do agronomics, chemical, and they don't know that we're putting swim pools in. So we advertise pretty often in-house to our clients for enhancements and upsells for things. That's a big part of our marketing campaign as well.
Yeah, no, I think companies forget about existing clients and having some sort of drip campaign where there's just, emails or something reaching out on a regular basis, just a reminder, hey, checking in. But hey, also, hey, we do this and do this and that. Um, so a couple of things there. You mentioned Google Ads. So does Michelle run those in house? Is she
Yeah.
managing that campaign?
Yeah, we're manage
Okay.
those in-house, and that they're we use them both for hiring and recruitment for people as well, and anytime we want to do like a seasonal campaign, maybe it's that right now is the spring is coming on, so we're advertising for like spring cleanups and mulching and those kind of things to get people ready for the summer. So
I
it's definitely
gotcha.
seasonal.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. You guys are definitely got different season and things, but there's always seems like there's something that can work. Even like you mentioned the snow, right? Snow removal, big storm comes through. There's a lot of money. I talked to a guy in Chicago, and he was
That's
does a
big.
lot of snow removal. And he's like money. He called it white gold. His friends call it white gold. And then he said the
Yeah,
money's in the salt. Money's in the salt, Todd.
that's right.
Yeah, so it just that chemical, melting that snow and ice. The, you mentioned you guys worked with an agency. It sounds like you had good lead flow, but did you have a bad experience with them?
No,
And
no, they
don't
were
don't hold back if you did because
no,
I hear
no,
it all
they
the
were
time.
they were phenomenal. They were phenomenal. They developed a campaign for us, and this was a smaller agency here in local in Virginia Beach that we were working with. They did a great job with it. The leads came in, but we were not. I don't think we were postured ready as far as the right people and processes to capture those leads to come in to make sales on the ones we were already stressed to a pretty high level operationally, and so a lot of that didn't get captured and we felt like we were kind of wasting that money on marketing because we weren't really poised to like capitalize on new leads coming in. So we've made some changes on that. It was all about hiring more people, getting more crews, being able to take on more tasks, and that's kind of what we've done to try to go forward. We also learned quite a bit, and we're not really afraid to kind of do a lot of this marketing in house and work it. We've got the four of us, the team. We have a guy that we've hired is kind of special projects, and he focuses on things like that as well, and he's phenomenal at it. And so we had considered actually a big national landscaping marketing firm as well. We chose against that. It was pretty pricey at the time. It wasn't really going to fit in our budget. But I think we're right now at the stage where doing it in house has been successful for us, and we're able to like I said, we're never at a shortage right now of leads. So it's not a
That's
big
good.
it's big a priority for us. Spending money on marketing.
So yeah, you sound like it's more of an operation issue right now, or trying to get
That's right.
I guess keep up with the leads and so forth. That's good. Businesses, I mean, a lot of businesses struggle with leads. If you guys said, hey, we got plenty of leads, it's more of converting those leads into jobs and so forth. Makes total sense. So what's the future look like going forward? What are you guys hoping not only for 2026, but say the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, continue to support operations and grow. I mean, Our goal, when we merged, our goal was to hit 10 million in revenue in 5 years. When we merged, we did, I think Earthscapes had just done like 1.5. And so here we are at year five. We just were short of 10 million last year. I think we're going to go over that mark this year. That was our goal, to get over it at 10 million at the 5 year mark, with the sights on growth to 30 million is where our goal is. And we know that the next steps to grow and to get to that stage, that's a whole different company almost, is that it's probably going to require us to go outside of what I call the organic Hampton Roads area. We're going to probably have to expand, potentially looking at, mergers or acquisitions outside of the area, in whether it's, north towards Williamsburg or Richmond, or even down south. We're not far from the North Carolina border. We've done some projects down there, and we've got some things on the hook coming up for 2026 that will move us down south as well. So I can see that to be maybe not in the immediate year, but in the next 5 years, probably making some acquisitions outside of the area to kind of grow our market is probably the next step for the company.
Congratulations on the 10 mil. I know you said you're a little bit short, but it's hard to get to that, initial million, 2 million of revenue, and then to get to five is a whole nother
Yeah.
um hurdle. And then the 5 to 10 is a really big hurdle. A lot of businesses struggle at that 5 million because you have to change your whole, really,
Yeah.
your company and outlook and how you go about operating to hit that next level. So kudos to you guys. That's a great goal, and it sounds like you're right there at it. And yeah, that mean being a business owner, that's I can definitely appreciate that because that is not an easy task. I mean, everybody wants, oh, I want to be a $10 million company, right? But there's a lot to actually goes into actually accomplishing that. So
Yeah,
that is really, really cool.
you really have to look at your organization. You have to make sure the right team is in place. Sometimes you have to completely reorganize. I mean, we went through a reorganization 2 years ago, to make sure that no one was wearing two hats. At the time, you know how small businesses are.
Yeah.
Everybody wears multiple hats, spinning multiple plates at the same time, and it became overwhelming. That was part of the time we were trying the marketing, and it was very difficult for us. Um, we restructured so that everyone has one hat, everyone's focused in a lane, and that's part of it. Really growing to these different levels is recognizing how the company has to change in order to meet those goals.
Sure. Couple of little light follow-up questions. Um, what's a piece of advice you would give homeowners and that are looking to invest in their yard or backyard? What what's something you could pass along to them?
Well, homeowners, they we always say they hire a landscape company for really two reasons: to avoid a pain, or to have a pleasure, which is enjoy their backyard, or they just can't stand doing lawn work themselves. So if you hire a landscape company, you'd realize that it frees up your time, it makes your yard beautiful, so you get to avoid the pain and you enjoy the pleasure of having a beautiful backyard. Even if it's a company, a customer who just wants lawn maintenance, that's something that can really, relieve some time. And I would hope that, even though, like we said earlier, I'm not the cheapest landscape company, I would hope that we have the peace of mind of being consistent, regular. We have have good communications. We provide things that are like online payments and ease of use, and those kind of things are something that Earthscapes could do for you. And if you're gonna there's so many different services that can really help out a homeowner, whether it's putting a pool in the backyard or even just a, chemical lawn fertilizer program that really greens your lawn up. There's a lot that, you can explore in a landscape company that can really, can really turn your lawn around and make your home that much more enjoyable. And there's all different flavors of landscape companies, and they're all over the place. So we're a big company, but there's lots of little companies we make referrals to all the time. So there's somebody for everyone out there.
Yeah, typically too. I mean, that lawn guy or lawn customer may turn into a chemical customer as well,
That's
and then
right.
he may actually turn into a some real landscaping, right? And you might even build them an outdoor kitchen at some point. So
That
a lot.
happens
I
all the
always
time.
feel when we're working with business owners, Rome wouldn't build a day. Our biggest clients are the ones that we do a lot of different type of campaigns and work for. Typically, just started with one service, right?
That's right.
and then over time they grow. So I can see that a lot in your industry too.
Happens
I
a
take
lot.
it when you're talking about that, I think of my own house and my own yard, and yeah, and how I use the people I use, and how the services
And,
have grown.
I get it. There's a lot of people who love doing their own lawn. They love it, and they don't want anyone else to touch it, and I totally get that, we still have a service for you. If there's something you wanna do and you like to do it yourself, I mean, you can take care of your lawn, but we can come in and do the mulch for you, or we can come in and put an outdoor kitchen for you if you wanna do that, those kinda things.
I'm the guy that I don't mind doing it, but I do have someone that does it, and I appreciate it. It does give me a
Right.
lot of time, and I love when my yard looks great. Who doesn't?
Yeah, yeah.
I tried to do the chemical stuff a couple of summers ago and order some stuff online. And I think the first season, it felt like it was making a change, but then the yard just went to complete crap, for lack of a better word. So I did hire someone. This will be their, I think, third season. And my yard looks better than ever. I don't know what chemicals they're using, man, but they're on steroids. But yeah, it it's good to have a nice green yard and things in order. I think it helps obviously home value and all that as well. So last question for you, Ben, and I appreciate we've gone a little longer than normal, but I've been enjoying talking to you and listening to your story. And um, if some young entrepreneur came to you and said, "Hey, Ben, I know you've been in the landscape business, 10 plus years now. I want to get started. I want to start my own gig. I want to build something like you have. What advice would you give that young entrepreneur?"
Don't do it, run. I would say no, I'm kidding, I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
I've
I
had
think Go ahead.
that answer comes up a lot. I laugh because I'm like, yeah, and I'm asking that. I'm like, don't do it, just run.
I mean,
But we know that's not true, right?
there's a freedom to it, right? So, it's not for everyone. If you've ever read the book E-Myth Revisited, there's a great, that's a great description of like why a lot of small businesses fail. People start a business because they're good at something. They're good at landscaping, so they say, "I'm going to start a landscaping company," and they get themselves burned out because they don't have that entrepreneurial mindset. I think you've got to, my advice to somebody starting out the company is you got to hire the right person so that you can step away, give yourself that 50,000-foot view from the, pilot's perspective, and, and be able to watch and work on your company. Because when you get so involved in working in the company, it does two things. One, you get blindsided by things. You don't see things coming. You get overwhelmed with the work. And then you just feel like all you're doing is like just working, working, working. And you've got to get that company so that eventually, if you're going to grow, you got to have some help and you got to hire the right people. And every day is a process. And as an owner or a small business owner who's just starting out, it might not seem like you're a big company and you need to think about these big things. So you can just work on your company and it works great. And you'll be successful for the first 5 years. But then all of a sudden, you're going to find one day that you're just consumed by it. And I think you got to realize you got to hire the right people. You got to have an organization. You have to have a plan and a goal. And every day you put your feet on the floor, you got to be thinking about what those goals are and how you're going to get there. And it's a journey that not to be taken lightly. It's hard work.
It is hard work. Any business is hard work. One of my pet peeves is when somebody says, "I wish I was in that business because it's a easy business."
Right.
My first thought is always they probably have never owned a business if they're saying that because um, there's nothing easy about it. But
That's right.
it is can be very rewarding, and there's just entrepreneurs are cut from a different cloth, right? I always say everybody wants to be an entrepreneur until it's time to jump off that cliff, right? And that cliff can be scary. So I love when young people are looking at that journey and getting started because they're at that stage in life where they probably don't have a big family yet or a certain lifestyle, and that's a really a time to go for it because what do you have to lose at that stage in your life before you say you're married or uh, family and all these responsibilities that come up. So I love it when young people come ask for some guidance and just
I'd,
passionate about to continue the journey that we did.
I'd say one more thing is important for a person who's starting out is they need to have a mentor. They need to have somebody they
Yeah,
can
that's
go
a
to.
great.
If you don't have a
Yeah,
partner, you need a mentor. You need somebody to give you some direction.